Good day, everyone, and especially good day to Sir Filomeno Barcelos. And we are here to tackle about the should be control and not to be controlled. The side that was being given to Sir Abel Cator is the population should not be controlled, and the one that was being given to me is the population should be controlled. So I will already have my introduction for the opening statement about the population should be controlled. Nowadays, the population of the Philippines is currently at risk and it is high. And I think and I believe it is a must that we need to stabilize, especially when it comes to our ecosystem, to our resources. There is a lot of lacking. And when we say lacking, there are all kind of deficiency and it is not sufficient for everyone. And when the population gets higher and higher, people will always have this kind of problem, even in our government. Because as what we can able to see and witness to the state of the government, the Philippines is getting poorer and poorer. That's why we need a good president. When it comes to our population, people needs to learn that everything has a limitation. Everyone has their own demands and necessities. And let's state the fact that not everything is being given by the government to us, or we cannot even say it to our sources. That's why we really need to say that the population should be controlled.
Population, for me, should not be controlled because we are humans. We also have desires and feelings towards humans. So it produces an offspring, and that baby was produces by a love of a certain mother and a father who show their greatest affection to each other. And I think that was just a normal case. The more the family member, the more the merrier.
We cannot have a sustainable planet without stabilizing population. Just like in a family, when there is a kind of mass or a kind of number of siblings, you are having this kind of problem when it comes to allocating the money, having this kind of enough food for everyone because there is a large population in the family. I know that being a Filipino, we have this kind of thinking that when we are many, it is more happier. But let us also see or say that the more that we have in the family, the more there is an increase in the population. We are having this kind of problem when it comes to our resources. Our parents are having a lot of problems and discomfort when it comes to the necessities because at some certain point, those necessities that we need cannot be given because of the large amount of the children that they have. That's why I think and I'm very sure that we need to control this kind of population because it will surely make a big thing and it will give us or it will cause a lot of problem not only to the family or to a kind of a small group but rather to a large compound, especially when we are talking about the economy or the Philippines or even in the whole world.
Any population control mechanism only means that you are degrading the value of human life, and therefore it is morally unacceptable. We are born to live and to love in this world. Population is very unac- Population control is very unacceptable. This sounds like a devil for me because many women use contraceptives just to kill the babies inside the rooms, and for me that was so ridiculous and immoral.
I get your point. We are born to live, but also we are born to think and to give our family or children a kind of sustainable living. When we say sustainable living, we need to have this kind of enough resources. Everything that we need should be gathered and being allocated to everyone. So how can we be able to have this kind of immense and this kind of satisfaction when these necessities or the resources are not enough. Because when we say in the because if you will not control population, that is what we so called overpopulation. And when there is overpopulation, the main cause or the main problem that we are having is the um, people are getting a lot of problems when it comes to the government. The economy is getting poorer and poorer. There is a decrease, and when the population is good and it is not that too plenty, we can able to have this kind of sustainable living like what we really need to have. And also when it comes to population, nowadays, especially in the Philippines, I just wanted to be practical. We need to say, we need to this kind of thinking and be open-minded about conserving and also allocating the things that should be allocated. Especially nowadays, we are living in the 21st century, whereas we are really having a lot of problem when it comes to our resources, because people are being so abusive when it comes to the things that we have, especially when it comes to the land, when it comes to the sea, when it comes to natural resources. We are having a lot of deficiency, and I don't want to I don't want to give those future generation having this kind of problem, that even though they are still in the womb of their parents, they're gonna have this a lot of problems already. That's why I think being someone who is millennial and who is in the 21st century, I think it is a must that we also give we also give time and this kind of thinking that we need to conserve, we need to preserve, we need to also save those things that we have. We shouldn't be abusive when it comes to different things, especially when it comes to consuming our natural resources.
It's easy for you to say that thing, that we should control the population without considering people's feelings and emotions. Just like what I've said a while ago, we are born to love each other, promotes peace to everyone, and not to create a quarrel between what God says and the law says. Because what God says is, I believe in the saying that humayo kayo at magpakarami.
So for me, the reason why we are being called individual is because we are different from each other, and we need to respect everyone's perspectives, mindsets, and opinions. Yes, I know when it comes to emotions, it really affects every individual in different way. Why? It is because emotions is a kind of thinking in our mindset that of course we are being raised differently, we have different race. That's why we need to be understanding also when it comes to the opinions of the other people. But of course I wanted to make a clear vision for everyone that if we will not have this kind of conserving or kind of a thinking whereas we will control the population, everything will be at this state of problem and danger, not only when it comes to the necessities, not only when it comes to resources that we have, but rather to the whole world. Because if we will not be able to stabilize the needs of our world, we will have this kind of a lot of problem that cannot be solved by the government or even by the people. Because once the the planet is being abused by the people, and there are a lot of numerous people, there are a kind of millions and billions of people, and there are no more resources, what will be the thing that will be left to the world? The earth will be completely like a glass without water. So if you will have this kind of thinking, we will it will not be sufficient. People will die. People will, yes, they will live for just a few years, or they will always have this problem. They will have this kind of sickness. There will be a problem in health related issues. And just like in this time of pandemic, there is COVID. And I think that it is a must that we need to also think that we shouldn't focus more about of reproducing or reproduction when it comes to the people, because there is a kind of pandemic, there's COVID, it is a virus, it is a kind of problem that we used to see we used to cope with. We are trying to eradicate the COVID, and it is hard for us to eradicate it. Why? It is because we cannot see the virus, and and also there is a kind of conspiracy and a kind of a news from different sites, websites, in the YouTube, in the Facebook, in the TikTok, that the reason why there is a COVID that was being formulated, that is was being made by the Chinese people, is because they wanted to decrease, to lessen the population of the people, because there is a kind of overpopulation. There are even a kind of conspiracy that the COVID will only be stopped when when their meet, or when their goal is being met off already. Their met off is like for about millions of people, billions of people. And I think that population should be controlled. And yes, I understood everyone's thinking, but let us be open minded and see the importance of it. Do we still have time? 14.